Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright. Previously, Phoenix managed to prove some logical fallacies in Ispella's testimony, which made her freak out enough that she fainted. Apparently this weird thing going on in her head is proving a bit too much for her, so while she's unconscious, the trial's progressing by cross-examining the vigilantes who have been watching over the bell tower, the site of the murder, 24/7 since it first appeared in town 3 months ago. And, well, about that. I think the game's pulling a practical joke on me because I'm cross-examining not 1, not 4, but 9 people? Let's see. We got him. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, it's 10. A solid 10. Well, we spent like half of last video just pressing these dudes, and now it's time to actually take the next step. Which is to, call out the head guard's realization in this pipsqueak's testimony. So let's do that. I didn't run away. I did my duty when I discovered the intruder, I tell ye.
Hold it!
He's all yours, Maya. Zabil Chalchunka, can you please tell us about what you know? This evening, during the incident, what did you see? Sure, I saw the witch's footprints, that's what I saw. Good job, Maya, but how? Zabil Chatun sounds kind of Mayan? Zabil Chalchunka, do you mean these footprints drawn in this sketch? Aye, those are the ones. And then, what did you do after discovering the intruder? The chief told me to report on intruder he saw, right? Yeah. Did the chief actually say this?
Hang on!
Excuse me, Mr. Boystrom. Oh! What's this? Out of the blue? Have some respect for the vigilantes. Is there anything you'd like to comment on from from number 9's testimony? Comment? Well, certainly. I remembered about his report. Strange footprints appeared on the bell tower staircase. Why didn't you investigate as soon as it was reported to you? We are the fast-footed vigilantes, the most dutiful of knights, giving our all for the utmost sense of accomplishment. It is unthinkable that we would not launch an investigation after a report like that. And yet, I don't recall any such report being passed on to the Inquisition. That's right. I had my hands full with assigning tasks to each of the vigilantes myself. So I got hold of a reliable vigilante and gave him the following order. Investigate the suspicious footprints that appeared on the staircase. Immediately. That's what I said to him. And who was that reliable vigilante? It was, well, I'm having a bit of trouble remembering just who it was. But I'm sure it was a young and high-spirited vigilante. Was that not him? Shakes.
Hang on!
Can I ask you something, Mr. Shaky? This poor guy. Nick, don't. You can't expose that poor guy to your ruthless questioning. Just look at him. He may not be able to take it. How am I supposed to talk to him then? Let's try this again. Please excuse me, Mr. Shaky. the person the captain asked to investigate the suspicious footprints, was that you by any chance? Yes. What? It was him? I feel compelled to say this, but although Mr. Shaky may be young, very few would describe him as high-spirited. What? That may be so, but, well, what of it? Mr. Shaky, did you not follow your orders? Didn't you investigate the footprints? I investigated them, of course. Orders are orders. Everyone looked to be very busy, and no one would listen to me. Now, someone finally asked me about it. Vigilante Shaky, ready to report. I love this man. That was a very convoluted testimony. But at least now we know that this young man's report didn't reach anyone, because his seniors were too busy to listen. Yeah, people treat me like a baron. Did my report go to waste? Oh, now I remember. Huh? What are you talking about? Yes, I saw them. I saw the muddy footprints in the bell tower. Muddy? Hold on. I don't see a trace of mud. That's rain. It's damp from rain. Right? Huh. But I didn't report it to the chief. And now I remember why I didn't report it. If that is the case, you will add it to your testimony. Yes, my lord. When I saw those muddy footprints, at first I figured they were Foxy's. But okay, they made it very clear that Foxy wears stilettos.
Hold it!
You thought the footprints were Miss Foxy's? Yeah, she's always doing whatever she likes, causing us nothing but trouble. I was sure she'd entered the bell tower to take shelter from the rain, leaving those footprints. Excuse me, boy. How could you think that? That place is off limits, isn't it? I take orders seriously, and I value obedience. Oh, brother. Foxy, give us any orders you wish. We will obey you, whatever you require of us. However, you told us a different story before, Mr. Lywood. Oh my god, the steps they're made of wood. Ugh. You previously stated that when you saw the footprints, you thought they were those of a witch. Did you think that Miss Foxy was a witch? Well, I didn't mean it literally. It's just that Foxy can be such a bother. You can't help but call her a witch sometimes. You can understand that, right? You can see what kind of a person she is. If that's the case, then the footprints you saw in the bell tower must have looked like they were left by stilettos. Yeah, those stilettos. She likes to dig them into the other men's backs. There are men in this world who enjoy that sort of thing too. Well, it's best not to think too much about it. We never mistake those footprints. Foxy's footprints are unique. Lywood thought they were just Foxy's footprints. So that's why he didn't report his findings. In case you want to know, they weren't mine. I didn't leave those muddy footprints in the bell tower. Now that's weird. Yeah, I'm gonna go with my gut here. They're not muddy.
Objection!
Yeah. You seem pretty sure that the footprints in the bell tower are Miss Foxy's. In other words, the footprints you saw were stiletto footprints with pointy tips. Yeah, pointy. They were hers for sure. And yet we have a sketch of the footprints as they were found after the incident. Oh, those footprints. They have rounded tips. So you see, Mr. Lywood, your testimony contradicts the evidence. No way. That sketch was drawn by the court illustrator based on how we found the crime scene immediately after the incident. I can guarantee that the sketch is accurate. Well, I saw what I saw. There's no way I was wrong. How can you say that? The reason is pretty simple. If I'd seen footprints like those in the sketch, it wouldn't have occurred to me that they might be Foxy's. Exactly, those are nothing like Foxy's. Sweet Foxy's footprints look like this. This is quite puzzling. Perhaps the defense can explain this contradiction. Only one trail of footprints was found in the bell tower. One of the witnesses claims the footprints had pointy tips, but the court illustrator's sketch of the crime scene shows they were rounded. Is the witness's account correct, or is it the sketch that shows the truth? That doesn't look like mud. Mud is dirtier, messier. I think that's just imprints from, like, wetness from the rain. Okay. Maybe I should metagame it a bit and be like, assuming one of these options is true, which would be the best for Phoenix's side, for the defense? So if Lywood is correct, and Foxy did go up the steps, it might implicate Foxy. You know, when we saw that anime cutscene of quote-unquote Bezella summoning the Grandworm spell and incinerating the storyteller, her hair was unbraided and flowing freely. And then, from the perspective of the people down below on the ground, the figure collapsed, fainted, disappeared completely from view. Hold on. Okay. Well, this is a whole group of vigilantes, but... Foxy also has long blonde hair. Very long hair. It could have been her, and there could have been a swap. Both Espella and Foxy have blonde hair, of different shades, true, but from a distance it wouldn't really matter. Especially with how weird lighting can be and make people look different. If Foxy went up the tower and cast the Grand Worm spell, and then collapsed under the railing to hide, she could have had Espella's unconscious body there, waiting to be found? But where would she hide? There's no way out of the tower. She'd have to hide there. I mean, she could cast an invisibility spell, but that depends on if she has a gem or is the real Bazella, but... So Espella was found on the bell tower in the middle there. There's that floor up above with the bell, but there's no way up to it. Okay, so... And if the sketch is correct, then... nothing really changes. It would still implicate Espella, and there wouldn't really be any new leads. If they're both correct... Oh, right. So if Lywood is correct and it was really just Foxy who went up there with the footprints, that would be trying to say that Espella didn't go up there at all, but that's patently false. I think they're both correct. I think both Espella and Foxy went up. Okay. Do I want to use a hint coin to try and see and confirm? I'm just gonna trust my gut here. I thought it through. Hopefully I'm right. Both the witness and the sketch are correct, Your Honor. What? Two different types of footprint were observed in the bell tower. Now, if neither party is mistaken, it means that two trails of footprints were left on the stairs.
Objection!
It's so obvious I shouldn't have to mention it, but if you trust that the sketch presents the facts accurately, there is only one trail left on those steps. You can see it quite clearly. I can't tell if I got it wrong yet or not.
Objection!
Oh? Actually, it's possible that the sketch is showing two trails. And how would that be? Let's organize this evening's events on a timeline. Oh my god, I got it right. Mr. Lywood discovered the footprints soon after the rain stopped. Which means that at that point, someone had already entered the bell tower. Yes, that would be the case. The footprints that were observed then had pointy tips. And then, sometime later, another person went up those stairs. But that person left different footprints. Footprints that had rounded tips. Oh, I think I can see where this is going. I'm glad you follow, Your Honor. You see, the second person walked on the footprints that had already been left, perfectly covering them up as they went. Okay. I mean, if Espella really is being puppeteered, that's certainly plausible. The puppet master would just make her do that on purpose. What? This explains why only one trail of footprints was left.
Objection!
Preposterous. That's just too far-fetched. What makes you say that? Even we can tell you that much. There's no way there were only two intruders. There's no way there were two intruders. It's a big stretch, honey. Even if a body at the witch was invisible, we would have seen the other one. What you're saying makes sense, but it's the fact that none of you noticed the second intruder. And the only explanation for that is that the second intruder was also a witch who had also made herself invisible when she entered the bell tower. What? What the heck? Order, order, order! But there were two witches?
Objection!
Ludicrous. Are you honestly suggesting that two witches managed to sneak into the bell tower? It may seem ludicrous to you, but you can't say it's not a possibility. It's easy to bat around possibilities, but your theory alone doesn't change anything. Or perhaps you have some proof to support your little story. Because we do have proof that Espella Cantabella was, in fact, in the bell tower at the time of the crime. Not only was she seen by many people, but this was found at the crime scene afterwards, too. Espella's pendant, huh? If you think there was one more person in the bell tower, then prove it, Defender. Very well, then. The defense shall present evidence. Do you have proof that someone other than the accused was in the bell tower? Okay, just go through this one by one, do process of elimination. This is just a case outline. We can get rid of that. Flower-covered robe. Found at the crime scene in the bell tower, flower has stuck to rain-soaked patches. Maybe. Come back to that. Contraption. Mechanism from the middle floor of the bell tower. It has a hole in it. Touch details. So I can look at it. But, don't really think there's anything to say there. Yeah, the contraption was, like, closed. The lid was closed when we saw it. Bell tower plan. That's just the blueprint. It's fine. Vigilantes report, Vigilantes records. The bell tower was constantly guarded and there were no trespassers. Well, that's what we're trying to disprove. Footprint sketch. We already just went over this. Now I need to back this up. The pendant. The strap's been torn and has some black stains on it. I could say the fact that this was torn off of Espella's neck could indicate there was some sort of struggle, but okay, let's go back to that flower-covered robe. What do we know about it? It was cast off of Espella, I think. I think she was wearing it. It was on the ground, soaked in water, and Patty threw her pocket sand flower at the Vigilantes, which made it coated in flour. There would be nothing in the Grand Grimoire. There was no sign of green paint or... And profiles... Profiles are just profiles. Wait. Wait a second. I mean, if you really want to get technical, do you have proof that someone other than the accused was in the bell tower? Eve was there. Eve was with Isabella at the time of the incident. Do we want to accuse Eve right here? Oh. You know what? I'm just gonna use a hint coin. Thank God, I was about to... Okay. Oh my God, it must be the robe. Yeah, that's just the bell tower plan, that's just the footprints. It has to be the robe. It has to be.
Take that!
Oh. Oh, that's a, what is it? This robe was found at the top floor of the bell tower. As you can see, it's way too big for Isabella. All right. Yes, indeed. It would seem to belong to a much taller person. Vigilantes, I'd like you all to confirm something for me. You have been guarding the bell tower ever since it appeared, correct? Indeed we have, sir. Had anyone ever gone up the bell tower before the incident this evening? Of course not. What would be our purpose if we freely allowed people inside? Suspicious or not, sadly, no one ever approaches our bell tower. I see. But then... how did this robe get up there? Do you get it now? There must have been a second witch in the bell tower. Order! Order! So there were two witches inside that tower. Exactly, Your Honor. It's true that the defendant was seen in the bell tower at the time of the crime. But if another witch was present too, it's impossible to say for sure that it was Miss Cantabella who summoned the fire dragon. That's pretty waterproof. Whoa. Calm down, everyone. We must not let this defender confuddle our understanding of the situation. It was the great witch Bezella that summoned the fire dragon. I'm gonna expose you for what she is. We've braved fierce rapids, scaled high mountains, and crossed vast plains to testify in this court and expose the great witch. What are they talking about? You'll know soon. High Inquisitor Darklaw, permit us to testify again. You believe you can reveal the truth about the accused? Yes, Lady Darklaw. We may be just a bunch of commoners, but we shall offer you our testimony with passion, purpose, and plausibility. Let us speak now, for the sake of Labyrinthia. Oh man. For the sake of my sanity, please don't speak. Permission granted. May your words be as sharp as swords. And cut through all lies and fallacy straight to the truth. The Time for another round. Oh boy. The storyteller finished speaking to the crowds of the town square in the evening. That's when the Great Witch appeared. I still cannot forget the sound of that terrible incantation. It was undoubtedly that girl's voice. We ran towards the tower as soon as we saw her, keeping our eyes on her to make sure she didn't escape. We split into two groups at the entrance, one group to guard it, the other to chase down the witch. I was in the first group. I was one of the pursuers. I ran into the tower and caught the witch. There was no one but us at the crime scene. We captured the girl. There was nowhere for anyone to hide there. There was no other witch, I'm sure of it. I was guarding the entrance. I hadn't the locked. That's right, young one. The fateful bell tower, the fateful incidents. We saw them with our own fateful eyes. Well, I suppose that can again be summed up by saying, you all did the best you could. Vigilantes were the first to arrive at the crime scene. Their testimony is credible. It does seem so, and if what they say is indeed true, it would be decisive proof of the accused's guilt. Our opponent is a witch, the Great Witch to be exact. Things probably aren't as simple as they seem. If you think so, feel free to look for any cracks in their testimony. If there are any, and if you're up to it. Defender, you may begin their interrogation. Now this is interesting because one of the ones that stood out to me the most as being weird was Foxy's. The storyteller finished speaking to the crowds of the town square in the evening. That's when the Great Witch appeared.
Hold it!
Shortly before sunset, there were lots of people in the town square, weren't there? All the people were in the square. You read the contents of the story, didn't ya? The town's grand finale was kind of a big deal, huh? It happened only several hours ago. A sight we'll never forget. The storyteller noticed the Great Witch first. She appeared at the bell tower. She conjured a flame above her finger. The storyteller fixed his gaze on that flame. But it was already too late. The Great Witch uttered the incantation. Grandworm. I still cannot forget the sound of that terrible incantation. It was undoubtedly that girl's voice.
Hold it!
And by that girl, you mean... What a question. I mean, Espella Cantabella, who else? She took her father's life with that fearsome word. Yeah, no doubt about it. That voice belonged to Espella Cantabella. That fiendish voice? It even made me shudder. A little. Oh yes, she shouted that dreadful incantation. Ignaze. Huh? We're on trial, Grandpa. That wasn't even the same witch. It looks like they all remember her voice. Well, to be honest, I also think it was Espella's voice. Maybe it's better not to dig too deep into this topic. We ran towards the tower as soon as we saw her, keeping our eyes on her to make sure she didn't escape.
Hold it!
Were the vigilantes the first to arrive at the crime scene? Of course! I was worried the Great Witch may escape us, so I never took my eyes off her until I reached that bell tower. You didn't lose sight of her even once. No, even when I tripped on a pebble and fell down, I kept my eyes fixed on her. You fell down? It's dangerous to run without paying attention to where you're stepping. I saw my fellow vigilantes capture the Great Witch. That's when I tripped and fell. It was impossible for someone else to have traded places with the person who summoned that fire dragon. Therefore, the Great Witch Bezella can be none other than Espella Candibella. That's not how I remember it. We split into two groups at the entrance. One group to guard it, the other to chase down the witch. I was in the first group.
Hold it!
Can you tell me which vigilantes were guarding the entrance? It was me and Lottolance. The rest went after the witch. Right, Lottolance? Yeah, I think that's right.
What? What about me? I was there with you. I was guarding the entrance with you.
Oh, yes, now that I think about it, it was quite a scene. Quite a scene? If you want to know more, why don't you ask the kid?
Him?
Oh. I'm fairly certain that I too was there, guarding the entrance. Well, wherever I may have been, the winds that blow over plains will have blown just the same. These guys aren't the best when it comes to teamwork.
I was one of the pursuers. I ran into the tower and caught the witch.
Hold it!
You did it? You caught the witch?
She was as if in a daze. I too was in a daze. Then I seemed to fall unconscious. When I came to, it seemed that I'd captured her.
That means you climbed the tower before anyone else.
Yes, that's correct.
Let me tell you, that guy's the fastest among us. Runs at breakneck speed, literally. Number 5 is very light. I'm quite jealous of his feathery build.
I just don't...
I just don't know what to say. There was no one but us at the crime scene.
Hold it!
Are you sure there was no one else? Very sure. There were only 2 people on the top floor. Wait a second, you said 2? Yes, 2. It was me and my sweet Foxy. What? I am in love. All my attention is directed at Foxy. That's a weak excuse. There were several other vigilantes at the crime scene too, weren't there? Yeah, probably. But that means nothing to me. To me, there is only Foxy. That's my romantic interpretation of events. I wish you would testify about what you've actually witnessed. We captured the girl. There was nowhere for anyone to hide there.
Hold it!
How can you be sure there was nowhere to hide?
The whole city was watching the tower at the time. If the witch tried to climb down using a ladder or something, she'd have been seen.
That's a fair point. What about climbing up with a ladder?
But we're talking about Bezella here. She could have become invisible and flown out of the bell tower, you know. It'd be child's play for Bezella, since she can use any spell she wants.
Right, the Great Witch Bezella could have escaped with ease. And yet, Espella was caught at the crime scene.
Hear that, Nick? That's further proof there's no way Espella is Bezella, right?
It's hardly conclusive. I mean, if that was enough to convince everyone, we wouldn't be having this trial. But there's something in Foxy's testimony that keeps nagging at me. Was there really no place to hide? Can any evidence in the court record confirm that? Well, this all hinges on a hunch that the pendant, when it slots into the bell tower contraption, it'll open a ladder up to the bell. It's a theory. There was no other witch, I'm sure of it.
Hold it!
A witch could have used magic to remain unseen. Sorry to disappoint you, but no one used any magic at that time. What makes you so sure? To cast a spell, a witch needs to say that spell's incantation. And we heard no incantations, nor any other suspicious noises. Oh, hello. Multiple people had things to say? Oh. Shaky, and you, and you? And you! Well, Shaky fell unconscious right quick. Mr. Simp was distracted. Foxy, though, and Wordsmith was obviously in his own little world, but Foxy, no, she should have been in sound mind. Let's question her first.
Hang on!
Miss Foxy.
What? Would you like to ask Foxy a question, Defender Boy?
I'd like to know what you think about Mr. Treadon's testimony.
I have this little pet theory, you know. He's saying that since he didn't hear the incantation, the witch didn't cast a spell, no?
Yeah, she didn't, so she couldn't turn invisible, see?
Well, that would make sense. But couldn't she have simply cast the spell earlier?
Huh?
If she was invisible from the start, of course we didn't hear that incantation. So I think you've made a fool of yourself, sweetie.
I have, it's just as you say. Oh, the public humility. Jesus Christ! What is the ESRB of this game? Is this E? E10 plus? What was it? What was it? Hold on. No, hold the phone. I need to look this up right goddamn now. Well, I'll be. It's rated T. Huh. Go figure. Walk over me more. Let me be your doormat.
It looks like the testimony went kind off the rails there.
Tell me about it. Just leave them to themselves and don't make eye contact. But, you know, it wasn't just Foxy that seemed to be thinking about something during Treadon's testimony.
Okay, let's question some more people.
Alright, yeah, we'll come back to Treadon, but for now...
I was guarding the entrance. I heard the door locked.
Hold it!
You locked the door to the bell tower.
I wasn't gonna let anyone escape. So I turned the key in the lock.
You did a great job, didn't you? His intentions weren't bad, but it did more harm than good. Huh?
The little boy swallowed the key, and there were no spares. He successfully locked in everyone who'd entered the bell tower.
He swallowed the key?
That's right. We couldn't get down from the bell tower for some time afterwards.
This incident has led us to coin a new word for getting helplessly trapped. It's to be... I'm not even gonna dignify that by saying that out loud. It's getting quite popular.
Don't go around attaching strange meanings to people's names. So you could say we got ourselves kinda zibilcha-chugga-milled in Labyrinthia.
Look at you, a budding expert on labyrinthian slang. That's right, young one. The fateful bell tower, the fateful incident. We saw them with our own fateful eyes.
Hold it!
Can you tell us more about what you witnessed with your fateful eyes? I can indeed, since you're asking. The delicious scent of mid-evening dinner permeated through the air. Then a soft light shone faintly in the distance. Yes, right. So, what time was it exactly? Dinner time. When else would the scent of dinner be in the air if not dinner time? Do you see?
You still haven't answered my question.
At any rate, I heard it then. That ominous incantation. It made my beard hair stand on end. Ignay, she cried. I think you're getting things mixed up with the previous case. Is he? I am on a green field, sky-clad, watching petals dancing in the wind. Allow me to indulge in my dream for a while longer, young one. Looks like they're all saying pretty much the same thing. But there was another witch in the bell tower, if only it was easier to prove. If the other witch used the invisibility spell, that would explain why no one saw her. No kidding, Maya. That's the whole point of invisibility after all. But just knowing that doesn't help me. I need more information to go on. I'm sure there was one more person, another witch in the bell tower at the time of the incident. And I'm going to find a way to prove it.
Right, let's keep our eyes peeled for any witnesses acting suspiciously.
Okay, over to Tredon. This man.
Hold it!
So... you fell unconscious. I mean, you were distracted, but you were of able body. Wordsmith is still obsessed with Ignay, so I think our best shot is this man. It's like, yeah, body language. He's deep in thought.
Hang on!
Excuse me, number 6? Yeah, I'm sort of busy thinking about something right now. What do you think about Mr. Tredon's statement? Is there anything you'd like to share with us? Well, kind of. Just a thought I had. Tredon's saying that since he didn't hear the incantation, the witch didn't use magic, right? Yeah, she didn't, so she couldn't have turned invisible, see? That's some surprisingly good reasoning, especially coming from you. But couldn't she have simply cast the spell earlier? Well, that's exactly what Foxy was saying. Huh? If this is... am I getting confused? Didn't we already read this? Yeah. Yeah, no, this is different. My, aren't you the smart one, Servius? You took the words right out of my mouth. I was thinking the same. Out of Foxy's mouth? Oh dear, I feel like I'm melting inside. Watch me bask in Foxy's love, tread on. Oh, the envy, the jealousy, the chagrin. You make me suffer so, Foxy. It was a noteworthy testimony. But this witness wasn't the only one that seemed to have something to say about it. Let's see. Fine, we'll ask Shakes then. Like, if it ends up being Wordsmith, I'm gonna lose it.
Hang on!
Mr. Shaky. I didn't mean to startle you. Do you have anything to add to Mr. Treadon's testimony?
Yes. I think there was something. A strange noise.
You actually heard something at the crime scene? And you say it was a strange noise?
Yes. Look what you did, Nick. That's just cruel.
What? I didn't do anything.
I can't remember if I heard anything odd when we were in the bell tower.
Excuse me, Mr. Shaky?
It looks like we're temporarily one witness down.
Let's give him a break. Maybe someone else has heard that noise. Oh. Number 8 said he didn't hear anything unusual. It wasn't only Shaky that seemed to have a different opinion on that matter. Okay. You're 8, right? Okay, we'll try Wordsmith here, just to cover all our bases.
Hang on!
Oh, the music stopped. Excuse me, Mr. Wordsmith?
I do not know anyone by that name.
Yeah. Anyway, would you like to comment on Mr. Treadon's testimony? I see you have nothing to say. He's in green field mode again. Do not rush to conclusions, young one. I am on a green field, sky-clad, watching petals dancing in the wind. Yep, I knew you'd say that. And yet, a single shaft of light has shone through the dark abyss of my memory. I heard something in the bell tower when we went to apprehend the witch. What did you hear? Was it an incantation? No, it wasn't an incantation. Nevertheless, it sounded like a woman's voice. Mr. Wordsmith, this is extremely important information. Please add this to your testimony. Yes, I shall do that. It's best that I tell you about it now, before I forget again. As the defender requested, you will now testify about the sound you heard. I recall hearing a woman's voice, a faint, delicate sobbing no less. Huh.
Hold it!
You heard a woman sobbing? Yes, sobbing, or perhaps wailing. Eek, ee. She sounded a bit like hinges in need of some grease. Oh my god. He heard the mechanism. Boy, his falsetto packs a serious punch. And there was another noise, too. Clack, 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 clack. It was a pleasant sound, rather like that of wooden cogs in motion. Gee, you don't say! Huh? And another sound. A clink-clink of chains creaking. We've come a long way from the sound of a woman crying. Ow, ah. I remember it now. Oh, a woman's scream. It was likely the contraptions. On second thought, I heard it too. I remember a certain wailing, creaking noise flowing through the air. And when did you hear it? We ran to the bell tower, and I think it was when we arrived at the entrance. Indeed, only the quickest of us got there in time to hear it. Mr. Wordsmith is a fast runner? Gotta be honest, Nick, I never saw that coming. I think it might speak more for the slowness of the other vigilantes. Anyway, we've got a new piece of info. The vigilantes heard some noises resembling machinery in the tower. I wonder what was making all those eeks and clinks and clacks. Was there any machinery up in that bell tower? Now's the perfect time to present something that may have some connection to those noises. My thoughts exactly. Well, as satisfying as it would be to point this out to Wordsmith, we are running up very close to my 1 hour goal. And if I do point it out, then it's going to start a whole new thing. And simply put, this is the best natural stopping point we're going to get for quite some time. I am glad things are going smoothly, even if there are 9 friggin' witnesses. God. I did have to use a hint coin, but you know, I don't feel any remorse. I have 150 of the things, you know. Look, I gotta level with ya. In my youth, I was held hostage by the mind goblins. You know the type. Let's say you play Final Fantasy and you pick up an elixir, a use item that fully restores HP and MP for one character, and you're like, well, time to never use that. And then you beat the final boss, the credits roll, and you're sitting there thinking, boy, sure could have used those 40 elixirs I had in my inventory. But no more. I have slain my mind goblins. These days, if I have something to use, I'll use it. I'm just, well, frankly speaking, for me, it's just a matter of trying my hardest to, you know, put on a good show. This Let's Play would be less enjoyable to watch, I think, if I just used a hint coin on literally every single thing. If I didn't think at all. So that's why I'm trying to avoid using them. But I don't know, man. You know what I mean. So I think where this is actually going is that... Let's see here. We're actually going to posit that someone went and hid up top on the very top floor of the bell tower. Maybe. I think that's where this is going. But, look, so let's say you put the amulet into the slot, it goes clink, clank, clunk, it drops down a ladder. And let's say, whoever the real perpetrator is, they climbed up the ladder. They'd be here, in this portion right here I'm circling with my mouse. Now, line of sight of this floor was obscured from the ground below, but with the entire town gathered, I would think someone would see the ladder drop. And they'd see someone climb the ladder too. So maybe it's not as cut and dry as I'm thinking it is. Well, I hope things will be made clearer next time. In the meantime, I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.